Hello and welcome back to From Basic to Ballin Part 4, where we are doing a complete rebuild of the LS Miata in 1 week's time to get it ready for the next 20K payout drift competition. We need to make this thing as freaking good as it can be, basically. We're taking it from a basic setup with a cam 5.3 making 330, 350 wheel to a pretty gnarly setup with a cammed 6.2 liter, should make 450, 500 wheel. We're revamping a lot of stuff along the way, new clutch setup, new ECU, etc., etc. It should be really sick. So far we got the motor out, we got everything stripped down, we got the new motor in the subframe, we got the new motor in, new wiring harness in. We're converting to electric throttle, the electric throttle pedal, and got that all mounted up. We are also adding a surge tank. So that's one of the bigger parts of the project that's going to make it take some time, is plumbing in this new surge tank. Basically with the stock fuel tank, the fuel sloshes around, and if I have less than, like 3/4 of a tank, it fuel cuts. So this will prevent that. We'll have this basically as a capacitor of fuel. So anyway, today, what is on the list? Finish the car, finish the surge tank. So we need to just keep hammering out stuff like getting the alternator on, the water pump, the radiator, plumbing everything, wiring, hook the wiring up, intake, manifold bolted on, and plumbing in the surge tank, and then trying to start it. So that is what's on the list for today. Time to get to it. The one difficulty for me with the Holley wiring harness is it's meant to come out on the passenger side, like come through the firewall, whereas mine's set up to come out the driver's side. So it's like the links are kind of odd. I'm gonna go ahead and spin the dry sump pump over. I've got the lines unhooked in the back, the tank out, so I'm just gonna try to pump as much of the oil out as I can since this is a new motor. If we have any contaminants in the old oil, I'd prefer not to transfer it onto this motor. So I'm just using a drill to spin the pump. This is a lot better. Normally I use an electric ratchet, but it's like kind of impacting, whereas this is just spinning it, which is a lot better. And we'll do this to prime it. So we'll prime it before we put the radiator and stuff back in so we can use the drill. Not sure if there's much left in the lines anyway. Alright, I think we're about as empty as we're gonna get. Tank, breather tank, all cleaned out, all emptied, back in. Just gotta change the filter. A lot of people ask, like, I can't believe you mounted the oil filter like that. Doesn't it pour oil out when you take it off? If it's the other way, then it comes out of the lines. Either way, you're gonna spill oil. Two, this is the only place it would fit, and I can make all the lines work. So it wasn't like I chose to mount it this way or the other way. Oh, she's tight. I don't understand how oil filters get so much tighter. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, you snug them up pretty lightly, go to take them off, and they're freaking torqued by the Hulk. Like, I don't get it. Also, we drained the system this time, so we ain't got no mess. Sweet, that was easier than usual. Now we just gotta fill her up with oil, prime it, and then we're done with the oil system. We can start putting the rest of everything back together. You can hear the drill get harder. That's when you know that you've got oil back in it. go check the tank. All right, so the level in the tank is now steady. That means we should be full. We'll have to do a double check once the engine's running. You check it at 3,000 RPM. Just that way the pump's scavenging enough out of the pan so you're not building up excess oil in the pan and reading artificially low and yada yada. We will check it once it's running, but we're good to go for a startup whenever we're there. We know the oil system is completely primed. So yeah, what's next? I guess finishing up the front end stuff. I want to finish up reassembly before we dive into the fuel lines and stuff at the back. That should be like the last thing. So we're pretty close. Just got a few more things to install. Making contact with the throttle body. I gotta go get a different water pump. So this one, these bolts back here, where it has this plate, this is essentially the physical water pump. Basically they're touching the timing cover, and then this part up here hits the intake manifold. So I gotta go get an Ls3 one for an 06 GTO, and that should clear. I hope it clears intake. It should at least clear us on the timing cover, because this is an Ls2 timing cover, even though this is an L92, which is a truck version of an Ls3. There's a lot of mixing and matching. We got F-body accessories. But this Ls2 pump should work. So I'm going to go pick one up. I'm going to try that. Well, with some manual milling, with the Dremel and a carbide burr, we got just enough clearance. The problem is this is an Ls3 throttle body. The Ls3 water pump's different, but I have an Ls2 timing cover, and this is going with F-body accessories. It's a hodgepodge. So sometimes you gotta do some manual milling, and you're good to go. So it fits now. Bolts comes on and off good. It's not like hung up or anything. It's not forced on. So we are good there. I need to swap all my stuff over from that water pump. Yeah, then we can keep on trucking. Sweet, everything lines up. Getting there, boys. Radiator, exhaust. Freaking raining, man. Every day, Florida. Every day. Why you give us a break? I gotta load tunes and do all that stuff. But we're close. We're getting close. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the brakes on before I forget and go stomp the pedal and push the pistons out. And yeah, like I said, radiator, exhaust. All right, radiator is in. I gotta throw a hose clamp on here, tighten up the other hose clamps, and we're good to go there. Fans are hooked back up. Exhaust, that's what's next. Well, we are officially, as far as I can think of, wrapped up underneath here. Exhaust, trans mount, all the things. Look at that pretty new DHWorks 8AN line. Snazzy. Obviously, we didn't do anything with the rear back here. That all stayed, but yeah, as far as up here goes, sway bar's in, steering shaft is in. That used to be the hardest part of pulling the motor out of this thing, but we fixed the issue. So that's not dry sump lines, belts. Cool. Yeah, now we can move to the surge tank lines, and we're AN lines away from at least attempting to start it. Like I said, any engine swap, any engine pull, any engine first start, there's almost always something you forgot. We'll see, we'll see. If not, I'd be surprised. So anyway, let's get back to work. Man, it is really coming down out there. It's been like this all day. Wild. Okay, on to the surge tank. This is our feed out to our fuel rail. So we'll have a return coming back like you would for any normal into the tank. But then we have a feed and return to the tank. because this is a Deechworks 5.5 surge tank. So basically what this does is the stock pump in the tank fills this up with fuel, and this acts as a capacitor. So you have 2 or 3 pumps in here, and as you use the fuel, it's going down, and that's just kind of casually filling it back up. It keeps all the fuel that you're using to feed the engine contained, so it doesn't slosh around. So yeah, anyway, what we're gonna do is run the lines through there. That's like a rubber deal, pops out here. Here is our fuel hat, so we'll have a 90 off here, soup. And what we need to do first is get a basically an adapter fitting onto this hard line here for it to go from hard line to AN like this one does. Freaking rain, could you quiet it down some, please? Hello? Please? Oh, all right. And fitting on, easy enough. We got the fuel hat back in, so we're gonna do our first line here, which is gonna be our push lock line. I am gonna eventually convert this to AN, but for right now, in the interest of saving time, figured we'd start with this line and see kind of how the routing's gonna go. Yeah, I can run the other one, so we'll make this one a little long. All right, so there's our rail return. Well, there she is, folks, all fuel line fitting up. Got our filter mounted, boom, boom, lines, everything's tight. I definitely do want to change this to a Deechworks fitting and Deechworks line. I just, again, in the interest of time, push lock took like 2 seconds to make, but man, it's kind of wild, all these fittings back here. It sucks that it's not daylight. It's like, I don't know, the light's kind of blowing everything out, but I don't know, I thought it might look too busy, but I like it. I've got the tuned stuff that I need, the updated firmware. I need to go through and check and make sure I don't have any power wires sitting on the ground. I think everything is good. Throw my PDM button pad in, throw my ignition switch in, basically do a systems check, then we're gonna try to start it, so wish me luck. All right, we are upgrading the firmware. I think it was already the most recent one, but upgrading just to be safe. Then we're gonna try the tune. And the one thing you have to do with a Holly is the throttle position learn, which we have an electric throttle body, but basically, you know, full throttle off, full throttle off. If you don't do that, it will not start. And like Ben's car, we forgot to do it. Get in there. All right, here we go. Here's our tune file. You gotta love having the 3.5-inch touchscreen that the Terminator has. It's just so easy. You put the tune files on a freaking SD card, put it in there, boom. Oh, I just want to load my tune. Well, it's so easy. For anyone who wants to see what the inside of the Deechworks surge tank looks like, this thing's honestly like an absolute work of art. Instead of having clamps or anything like that, it's like literally press fit. It's incredible. When I first got this thing, I was just mind blown by it. So I turned the key on, I got fuel pump to my in-tank pump, which is powering one of these pumps, and like nothing at these pumps. I went through the PMU, I powered up this pump, nothing. I'm like, man, I must have forgot to unplug it. Open it up, yep, both of them are unplugged. Or I must have left it unplugged for whatever reason. So now we're good. We've got everything else. We've got fuel pump power, ECU. So that's the moment of truth. It's late, but I promised you guys a first start. We got to at least try. So I'm gonna put this back together and see what happens. Fuel is working. We've got pump to the surge tank filled. We've got each pump, I've checked them individually, both working, we're good. However, for whatever reason, my TPS auto set is not working, which is what sinks the throttle and the pedal, and you have to do that to start a car on the Holly, and I've never done it with an electric throttle body like this, so I've got to figure that out. Okay, discovered the problem. When I would go to do the auto set, I could hear it moving, and it would like move a little bit, and then when I go to press the pedal the second time, it wouldn't move. So I was like, you know what, maybe the throttle blade is hitting. So I come out here, I look, boom, throttle blade was hitting the basically the opening for the intake. So it's freaking monstrous. This one like fits in the inside of it, look at this. Yeah. Anyway, so this is a, I'm gonna scratch all this stuff up. This is the stock truck one. My hood does close, so if we have to use this one for this event and figure out a solution after, that is okay. So it does fit. I don't know if the tune needs to be changed. I'm pretty sure Matt had to do some special stuff to the tune for it to work properly with this one. So it was working. The problem was just that when the blade maxed out and hit, it kind of like, it triggered an error. So yeah, I mean, I guess I'll try it with this one and just see what happens. Okay, I just went and ordered a Ls3 throttle body, so that'll absolutely fit with the stock Ls3 intake, which for those of you who don't know, the stock Ls3 intake is arguably like the best intake you can get for a rectangle port head motor. Makes really about the most power everywhere. You can get intake manifolds that make more up top, more down low, but this one has good power everywhere. Anyway, moral of the story is I'm an idiot, and that 102 mil throttle body was never going to fit on a stock Ls3 intake. That is for an aftermarket intake. My fault, lack of foresight. Just saw a 4-bolt electric drive-by-wire. I know Snake Eater Performance makes good stuff. Cool, order. So anyway, yeah, stock Ls3 one coming in. That'll be a little bigger than this truck one and fit a little better, give us a little more clearance. But for now, we're going to do the TPS auto set with this and see what happens. Wish me luck. Got our little Holly screen here. Tells you, don't forget to do this. Oh, I still got to bleed the clutch. TPS auto set, start. Says successful. I guess let's give it a shot here, boys. This is kind of nerve-wracking. That wasn't right. I think it's probably the throttle body setting. Changed the throttle body part number in the ECU, redid the TPS auto set. Hopefully it works now without revving to the moon. I definitely think, I mean, that was definitely a problem. Whether or not that was our cause of 5,000 RPM off the rip, I don't know. Aside from my throttle body mess up, fired up first try.
Yeah, that's it. It sounds gnarly.
It sounds so super gnarly. I gotta get my, I need to plug like my dash in so I can see like what's going on. I might just go ahead and throw the interior back in, get that sorted, because I know the wiring works. I mean, it should have oil pressure. It's an external pump, so I don't see why it wouldn't have oil pressure, but. So I was originally gonna call it after the failed first start, but I mean, we got it started after less than a week of working, start to finish, running, driving 5.3, running, driving 6.2. Well, not driving, but running 6.2. I'm stoked. That's too exciting not to share with you guys. And I mean, I promised you a first start. It would just be unfair of me not to deliver on that promise. So anyway, we got it started. What's left is just buttoning up the car, you know, front end, front bumper, interior stuff, getting all that together, and then we can go take it for a first rip and see how the old 6.2 compares to the 5.3. I'm excited. I'm really curious what it's gonna be like. You know, how much different is it gonna be? We've done a lot of other changes, different clutch, you know, drive-by-wire, surge tank. So a lot of stuff to figure out. And that's what we're gonna be doing tomorrow. But for now, that is gonna be it for this one. Hope to see you for the next one. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. Goodbye.